welcome back to the Lighthouse Addictions Topic Show. My name is Joe. I am your host for today, and today we are here with our very own marketing manager, Jason. Welcome, Jason. Thank you so much for joining us, and today we're going to be talking about balance in recovery, which is a very important topic. But before we start, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Thank you. So my name is Jason, and here at the Lighthouse, I'm a marketing manager. I've been in this field for quite a while, and I've had a chance to work in all different aspects of this field. I've worked in admissions, I've worked as a drug and alcohol counselor, program director, executive director, I've done outreach. So I'm hoping to be able to bring some of my professional experience, but also as a person in recovery, I'm hoping to be able to bring some of my own personal experience to this as well.
Beautiful, thank you. So having a personal background in recovery and also having a background in counseling, why do you personally feel like it is important to have a balance in recovery?
Yeah, balance is it's an important topic, and it seems like as soon as a person acquires some balance, they immediately lose it, and things are again out of balance. So I just think balance is such an important topic, and it's just an ongoing thing where they just continue to have to reevaluate and reassess.
There's definitely impermanence when it comes to balance. It's like it has a very transient nature. Like you think you have it, then all of a sudden something else comes up, and then you have to figure it out again.
Right.
Yeah. So what are some negative effects of not having a healthy balance, or some emotional signs indicating that you don't have good balance in your life? I know me, it's stress or feeling overwhelmed.
Right.
Yeah.
I think in a lot of the times people use the language in recovery as like hungry, angry, lonely, tired.
Yes,
right. Those are some key things, but it's really interesting that sometimes we're not even the ones that notice it, and it's other people pointing out you seem angry or you seem off, and sometimes we're not picking it up ourselves. So yeah, I think you're right though. I think that everybody has their key points. With some people it might be isolation. With some people it might be boredom. So everybody's going to find different avenues, and I think by doing like constant checking on ourselves and maybe a daily inventory, and just having some awareness and some insight into some of our own nature, to have an awareness that, oh my God, I haven't in a while. I haven't socialized. I haven't been a part of fellowship. I haven't been calling people back to have that red light go off, to know that there's something to be concerned about.
Yeah, I think that's really important to have that awareness. You're right. And I know that we encourage keeping busy in early recovery, but why should we make sure that we're not overwhelmed or have too many things on our plates? Because I honestly, that's something I'm very guilty of. Just putting too much. Yes, I can do school, and I can be the assistant for school. Why not? Let me volunteer, and I'll volunteer for here. And then also I have a full-time job. So sometimes being of service or putting too much on my plate can overwhelm me and have a negative effect on me.
Yeah, and what I would tell somebody is to look at this as like a long distance race. You don't have to accomplish all these things now, but our nature is, I have so much time that I have to make up for. All this time that I was in my addiction, that I didn't do anything. I feel like, and then we come up with these calendars in our head. By this time, I should be in this place, and these unrealistic
expectations.
But expectations of pressures on ourselves that we have to make up for this lost time, and that's not true. Usually, what that causes is burnout.
Yeah.
So really, what I'd recommend is looking at the slower, steady, as far as accomplishments that are going to really allow us to have ongoing long-term success.
Yeah.
So it's risky, when someone gets to a point where they're burning themselves out, they're going to collapse.
Yeah. So
they may accomplish a lot in a really short period of time, and then they lose everything.
Yeah, you're right. My last sponsor actually always said, give yourself the gift of time, because it's not a race. Nobody accomplishes the things, at the same time, especially in recovery. We may compare ourselves to other people. Like, hey, they have this much time in recovery, I should be where they're at. But it just doesn't really happen that way. So, and also as addicts, we always want immediate results. We always want, things right away, and that's not what happens. You have to really make sure that you're prioritizing with self-care, your spirituality, and things like that. And I think that's really the best way to be effective in creating a balance in your life.
Right, and then and then people sometimes they look at it in a very singular way, and it might be just all negative.
Mm-hmm.
And we could overdo it with negative things. We could overdo it with positive things.
Mm-hmm.
We could take something that's really good for ourselves, like meetings, and we could actually make it become negative.
Yeah.
So I've seen people have like a meeting to go to, a minimum of a meeting a day, every day, a commitment in every meeting. And as a result, they're not a good employee. They're not a good significant other. They're not a good parent. And in all aspects of their life, they're failing.
Yeah.
And they can't get back. They can't manage. They're actually hiding in AA.
Mm-hmm.
And then what ends up happening is everything ends up falling apart.
Yeah, I've seen that happen with several people. Yeah.
Right, and the meeting should be positive.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and commitments should be positive. But we can almost take anything as people in addiction and take it too far and abuse it.
Yeah. So our next question is, why should we prioritize spirituality in recovery? We believe that, addiction is a spiritual disease. So definitely this question is very important. What are your thoughts on it?
And it's for the individual finding out what's spiritual for them. And that being something that's, again, forever changing. So, at the beginning of it, it might just be like going for a walk or hiking, but it over a period of time, it's really interesting to see people take it to different levels. And then it turns into maybe meditation workshops, it turns into yoga. And by allowing someone to just simply have a belief in something or faith in something, to crack that door open just a little bit, to really see what it could actually turn into. So I think when people talk about like what they used to do, well, I used to go backpacking, I used to meditate, and now they're not doing anything. So it's just having something. As long as we're doing something, we can build on it.
And be consistent with it as well.
Yeah, I mean, and spirituality is it may mean different things to different people, but for us to understand that we have a spirit and really think about like what brings us joy, what brings us happiness. So when people think of spirituality being something they're not interested in, it might just be simply that they're not really sure what spirituality means, and they think it's something that they're not interested in. If we just think about what brings us joy.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
All right, and why is it important? This is something that I really struggle with as well, or I did struggle with early in my recovery, is asking for help. Why is that important in creating a balanced life?
I mean, if you think about like steps, like asking for help, isn't that almost a part of our steps? So if let's just say if I think I'm working a 12-step program, and I'm not able to ask for help, how am I gonna trust and rely on God?
Yeah.
So I mean, asking for help is so fundamental in recovery. Of am I humble? Am I allowing anybody to teach me? And if I don't think that I could learn anything, then I'm not going to be able to learn.
Yeah, that's a great point. Thank you so much. Is prioritizing health in living a balanced life? Is prioritizing health important in living a balanced life, and why? I think this is super important. I remember my first year in treatment. I mean, the food that they were feeding us was like all organic and very, very healthy, all vegetarian. And I think that it really helped heal my body. So health is super, super important, whether it's mental, physical, spiritual, emotional. You gotta really take a holistic view at everything and work from there.
No, and I like how you reference food. And it's something that it's our nutrients. It's what we put in our body. Somebody might think of health as like going to the doctor or taking medicine.
No, that's true.
But you took it to a different level, and health needs to mean to the individual what it means as far as the areas that they're deficient in at this moment. So what health can mean to me today may be different than what it meant a few months ago, and different than what it might mean a few months from now. So, one approach would be mind, body, spirit, but it's just an interesting topic that you can think about. So let's just say we all touch the same door handle, and not all of us get sick. but some people do. So what would cause that individual who got sick to get sick? You know, and it's like if you think about our personal health, I think stress has a part in our health.
Huge.
I think how well am I sleeping? How well am I eating? So it's like what causes that one individual to get sick and all the others not to get sick? You have to think about like what that person might be experiencing, and their body.
It's fascinating, actually.
Right, but their body might be fighting off stuff. They might be fighting off stress. All their energy might be going in different areas. They might be deficient in certain areas, and as a result, it allowed their body to not fight whatever that was they came in contact with, to fight it off, and the others did. So not everybody who's going to touch the same whatever is going to have the same reactions, and that just has to do with personal health.
Yeah. So it's very important that we do our best to maintain our personal health.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. And the just going into that topic, why is self-care important in recovery? That's a big one.
It is so huge, and it's so fascinating when you see people finally getting sober. They become so interested in self-care. They want to go to the dentist. They want to go to the doctor. They want to go to the gym. And again, that's that thing where we lost out on it for so long. And it's a beautiful thing to see people when they get sober, to see all the change and all the transformations they can make. And then what happens is we stop. You know?
Yeah.
So individuals using, they're not doing it. They get sober. They try to make it for lost time, and then they seem to plateau. And again, it's just like, how do I continue to take care of myself, and how do I continue to? So it's like a early in recovery concept is, you know, it's like that self-love, and we really see that we neglected ourselves, and then later on in sobriety, we like that first year sober, we celebrate it. That first year sober is amazing, but does a person who's celebrating 10 or 20 years sober, do they celebrate like they did when they got 1 year sober? They should.
They should, yeah.
Every year is such a miracle.
Yes.
So it's like
every
every day.
Yeah.
Right, but those early days, when we get 30 days sober, I mean, it's a miracle. And I think every day should be really truly cherished the same way.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. And what are some healthy activities people in early recovery should engage in?
So there's this. It may seem like I'm a little off topic, but I'm gonna get to that. So there's this concept. I really want to put this out there for any of the viewers. Anybody who's ever been in treatment would appreciate it. It would make them remember what they did when they got out of treatment. So I really believe that what a person does the day they get out of treatment says everything.
Really?
So let's say the day I get out of treatment, I go to a meeting. I'll probably continue going to meetings. But the day I get out of treatment, I want to go see my girlfriend. I want to go visit my friends. I want to unpack. I want to do laundry. It's
like an expression of what your real priorities are.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't go to a meeting the first day and I stay sober and nothing bad happens. I'm really going to go to a meeting the second day. I think anybody out there who experienced not going to meetings, it would totally make sense of them. It just got to a point of why go.
Yeah.
So it's just really interesting to think about just what we're going to commit to, how we're going to have a plan, and we're going to follow through with that plan, and we're going to commit to what it is that we're going to do as far as like taking care of ourselves, right? So it's a little bit at a time. It's a slow progression, but how we take care of ourselves day one, I mean, it really just says everything.
Yeah.
You know, and it
sets the precedent.
Yeah, but it's about having a plan.
Yeah.
And it's about having a plan that's realistic. Not having a plan that's not obtainable. So doing it in a way where it makes sense. So let's just say if a person's leaving treatment, they really need to have a discharge plan that's, I know where meetings are, I know where they're at, I know what time they're going to start, I know I'm going to get there. But it's then later on in recovery, I'm traveling, and I'm visiting family, and I reach out and make those connections, and I know where the local clubs are. So it has to do with like how we set things up for ourselves to have some success. So for some people it might be the gym, you know. For some people it might be, you know, planning and really being prepared in their mind about like vacations. You know, just it's different for everybody, but really having a plan that's gonna support our recovery.
Yeah, well, you definitely have to plan for success.
Yes.
Yeah, and make sure they're attainable goals. You know, don't put too much on your plate. Don't put anything that just isn't really like might be too difficult. Things that you know that you're capable of at the moment.
Right.
Yeah.
But in early recovery, it's I think that most people would think it has to do with meetings, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the common phrase that people say is like 90 meetings in 90 days. Yeah. And it's not that I don't believe in that, but I think that's a very linear approach, and I don't think it's all encompassing. So someone can go to 90 meetings in 90 days and have great success with it. But I would imagine there's certain elements that also existed in their success, and it wasn't just 90 meetings, 90 days. So, fellowship, conventions, workshops, retreats, sponsorship. There's service, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. H&I. There's all these different things for people to get involved in, and it's really fascinating. Like, so you take a person and they go on a panel, and they're nervous, and they're like, I don't know, and I don't know if I have the right message, I don't know if I'm going to help them, and it's really interesting how our head talks us out of doing things. You go on a panel, and I would say 100% of the time the experience is they feel amazing. They remember where they came from, and they're saying it out loud, like, I should do this more. And then they get asked to go do a panel again, and they're like, I don't know, right? Yeah. When we're doing it in that moment, we feel so good. And it's like thinking about the things like that. Again, it's going to be different for everybody, but I think fellowship is that one thing that it's so important that we not isolate. It's so important that we be a part of a group that gives us strength when we don't have strength. And that we be a part of a group that so it works both ways, but we're supporting the newer people, and when we're new, they're supporting us. When we're hurting, they're pulling us out. They're taking us to meetings, they're getting us out of our head, and they're really helping us.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. The social aspect of early recovery is huge, and I think that's why it's important for treatment centers to have like an alumni program or something like that. Yes. Our alumni program itself, like I have seen so many people get plugged in, stay plugged in, stay in the middle of the pack, and really have achieve like success in their recovery, long-term sobriety. Yes. Because they found themselves a fellowship, they found themselves a family. And I know that's hard for people early in recovery to get out there and not isolate. They suffer from social anxiety or things like that. To reach out or to be part of, it's so difficult, but I think that's such a super important aspect of balance. Have a social life, have that fellowship, right. Because these are the people that are going to lift you up, hold you accountable, and you get to go to meetings with them, do fun activities with them, and just being around that positive energy is going to also encourage you to stay sober and stay positive as well.
Yeah, when I got sober, the treatment center I went, I lived so far away, so there was no alumni, but even if there was, it wasn't anything that I'd be able to be a part of. I was so far away. Yeah. But I ended up finding young people in sobriety. I ended up finding groups. I ended up finding all these people with similar interests, and it was what we did before the meeting, it's what we did after the meeting, and it was just one of those things that every single day I woke up, I just had so much joy in my life, and I had so many things to look forward to, and I couldn't imagine not having that and then still being able to stay sober.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Thank you. So we're just going to finish up with 2 more questions. What advice would you give to a loved one of a struggling addict or a family member?
I mean, first of all, I would say don't give up. Yeah. There's hope out there. People do get sober and they stay sober. There's a lot of preparation that needs to happen. I mean, they got to take care of themselves. I am the addict, but now that I'm sober and doing what I get to do, I get to see what other people are going through, to have a better understanding of what I put my family through. And I can see how taxing it is and just how difficult it is. And so to not give up, to know that there's hope, and then it has to do with all the preparation as far as finding an avenue of support. It's so beneficial. Yeah. And then talking with some educated people, some trained people who have the resources to point them in the right direction. I mean, anybody who's struggling, what I would say is visit, the Lighthouse website. I really encourage them to call.
Yeah. Do you have a phone number that they may be able to call? Not off the top of your head, or?
Not off the top of my head, no. I would say go to the website though.
Ah.
And I mean, there's so much information on there. I mean, the website is put together really, really well. The information's on there, and also the phone number's on there for them to be able to call and ask any questions free of charge.
Beautiful, thank you. And what advice would you give to somebody who's currently struggling with addiction themselves?
It may sound like a similar thing. I mean, I would say don't give up. Definitely have hope. It's gotta be so difficult to get sober on your own. Like I don't know how a person would do it.
You don't have to do it alone.
Exactly.
You don't have to.
So if someone's trying to do it by themselves and they're failing at it, I mean, it makes sense why they'd be failing. What I would say is, you don't have to be failing at it. You don't have to do it by yourself. You know, I would encourage them to at least call to get some information. You know, they don't have to choose us, but at least to have a better understanding or at least a direction to go in to figure out what they need to do to get help.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
My
It's
pleasure.
been a great interview. And thank you all for joining us as well. Bye.